All right, man, we back. Okay, we back from that break. I hope you enjoyed that break there. Nutrageous. Okay, so you're talking about the heart.
The brain is connected to all the other organs.
But you were saying, for the longest time, I have believed brain is number one, then heart, then...
Okay, all right. So, number one is brain, because it controls all the functions, high functions, low functions. Number two is heart, because it pumps all the blood around the body.
Yeah.
And it has not only the brain has the mental connotation of being wise.
Yeah.
The heart is life,
Yeah.
Fancy do, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? Organ number 3 is the lungs. The lungs provide oxygen, which make the heart and the brain
Work. Yeah.
So how is the brain number 1 and the heart number 2? You can't have them without the lungs.
Well, then I interject, sir, because the skin is an organ, and if you didn't have a bag holding all your shit in place...
You know what you're doing? You're doing is a human trait, and you're romantic...
Of putting the brain number 1?
No.
I'm romanticizing what?
The heart.
By putting it what? By how?
Well...
Right now, by saying it's got these neurons in it, I'm romanticizing it?
Okay, first of all, it very well may have neurons connecting it to the brain.
And it can think independently?
Because no.
And remember independently?
Fuck no.
You don't believe that? You don't believe transplanting a heart into someone else and them having these feelings that tie back to the donor? That's balderdash. Hogwash.
You walk into a laboratory. On the shelf, you have a human brain. On the other shelf, you have a human heart. Mm-hmm. The human brain is all about cognition. It's a muscle created to create consciousness.
Sure. Yeah.
The human heart is an organ created to pump. You got a shit on your phone. It's an organ created to pump blood around your entire body.
Yeah. Drug lords, Colombian drug lords. Where are you getting that?
We don't have any water.
So pumps blood.
Your heart very well may have advanced parts and it may be connected to like high, it's connected to your brain.
Yeah, and the brain is connected to it.
No, but the vast majority of your heart is concerned with the soul. If your heart was a factory, its sole fucking responsibility is getting blood.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying it. The brain is superior as far as all this goes, the heart's main job is pumping blood. But the heart just also does have a small secondary thing going on. Like, it's not its main job, but it's no one ever knew it was in there.
Why? Okay.
Why?
Why would your liver, your skin, your lungs, your pancreas also not have an equal connection?
I don't know why they don't have those neurosensors or whatever.
I mean, it could
They were saying the neural network, is that what it is? Is what separates us,
Well, okay. So, it could have... They have a connection, but...
They thought it was just in the brain.
No, I have a feeling like you're... God damn, this fucking... Colombian...
You're gonna throw a mop stick out there next time they come riding through. Riding the spokes, bitch. You seen Indiana Jones?
I have a feeling like we're headed towards a conversation where you think the brain is a heart. Or, the heart is a brain.
The heart is a mini...
It's a pump.
It's like... I don't know a good way to explain it. It's like... The brain does maybe it could be even the brain does 95% of it and the heart does like 5% of it.
All right,
but still, I'm just saying.
Let me hit you with this fact.
The heart has a little bit of something we didn't know was going on, and you got to give it credit. Like, we didn't know you could think a little bit. We're not saying you're computing the whole damn shit, but it has some storage capacity, is what they're saying.
Let me hit you with a fact. If you look up the highest causes of death, I don't want to say like number 1, number 2, they always change, but heart failure is way the fuck up there.
Yeah.
It's constantly rotating in the top 5.
Okay.
In fact, that's a certainty. Heart failure will always be
in the top 5.
In the top 5
forever.
So, what are you saying? You're saying the second heart is a very, very faulty organism. That if it pumps your blood and it thinks, dude, it fails all the time.
How? How does it fail?
Heart disease is a leading cause of death.
Yeah, but that's because the fat idiot is eating wrong and smoking and has genetic shit that they're predisposed to. You know, you got to look at these studies and see what kind of diet. Were they even drinking water? You know, were they hydrated? Because if you're not hydrated to a T, or the normal amount of hydration, your heart shuts down, dude. There's an NFL player, Star Lotulelei. He was supposed to be like a number 1 pick, like top 5. He dropped all the way to the 2nd round because they found some abnormal shit in his heart. Everyone was scared and shit. And he went, after he fell to the Panthers in the 2nd or 3rd round. I read another article later saying, oh, he was just severely dehydrated and he's good. And it's like, damn, that dude got robbed of millions in draft placement because of dehydration. So if these people aren't drinking their water and being hydrated, you're setting your heart up for failure. You know, you gotta help your heart to an extent, you know. Right. I'm not saying, and plus when you say it'll always be in the top 5, because it's one of the top 5 important organs in your body, you know. If there was 5 more important organs than your heart, your heart pumps blood to everything.
Dementia.
Man, this is a crazy, because without the oxygen from the lungs, the heart ain't doing shit, but the heart giving the blood to the lungs. It's like a chicken and the egg, man. It's like, which one needs, which one can exist all by itself? The brain in a jar.
There are several organs, like we'll take the brain versus the heart. The brain, its main problem is dementia. All right.
But that could be diets and shit. That could be...
No, it could be any number of things.
However,
the main reason you won't get to dementia is heart disease, dog.
Yeah.
Dementia will get you in your 60s and 70s. Heart disease
will get you in your 40s and 50s and
in your 50s.
They'll get you in your 40s if you're an idiot, man.
So it's all over.
Yeah, something will get you eventually, you know.
So what I'm saying is, but the thing is, you're romanticizing. So the heart and the brain have this connection. What is your ultimate point?
That it's not just the brain thinking for the consciousness and power and telling the organs what to do. That the heart understands its part. I'm an organ. I got to do the subconscious, or what do you call it? Where you don't have to think about blinking your eyes. You don't have to think about beating your heart. You don't have to
unconscious.
Whatever it is.
Unconscious.
Unconscious.
Yeah.
Okay. That the heart, that's its main job, but there's also a part of it that is contributing to your thought process, to your consciousness.
Well, yeah,
that maybe it's like 80-20. The brain is doing the majority, but the heart's also like, hey, I feel shit, and you're gonna take my opinion too. Even though I'm the little guy, I'm pumping my heart, I'm pumping my blood, I'm getting everyone going. I earn my right to think.
Yeah,
and
but
the heart is just, it can think and remember a little bit. It's nowhere near the capacity of the brain.
Okay, well, what I would
surmise.
No, not surmise. What I would give to you is that what it sounds like as a layman, what you're describing is the fact that the heart and the brain are connected through anxiety and the connection of fear and flight.
Or joy and love.
It's fear and flight, man.
No, like in the example, the dude's love. Like every time you eat KFC, he's like, oh fuck yeah, man, I've been waiting for this. That somehow your heart stored a little bit of that, and this chick woke up from her transplant and was like, I really love like a bucket of chicken, and she had never eaten that shit. And I'm not making it up, man.
No, I know,
this guy might be making it up, but
no, what you're describing is a very slim.
No, because what this guy was saying is ever since they've been doing heart transplants since the 60s, that these surgeons have had these powwows and they have all these stories of, like I said, certain things they start feeling, certain things they start liking that wasn't something they enjoyed or did before. And I get it, the trauma of even needing a heart surgery could give you a different, profound outlook on life. And when you snap out of it, regardless of whose heart you have in, it'll make you appreciate things.
Okay,
but specific things like KFC?
No, so what you're talking about is if you get a transplant, if you get a heart transplant, you're running the possibility of having memories from the person whose heart was transplanted.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
You stumble to that point, you're like, so you're saying? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, yeah, but the first roadblock would be, since I don't know when they did like the first heart transplant.
They said, I think it was the 60s. They said 60s.
So, what would you say a rough estimate of the number of total?
I think they said now they do like 500,000 a year.
Yeah. And
with 500,000 a year, take 20 years, and you have all these reports coming back.
Conservatively, let's say since 1975, let's say 4 million people have been given transplants.
Sure.
All right. How many of those people have been tested to see if they have memories that they feel unfamiliar with?
I don't know. You'd have to test them all to make it a complete study.
I know, but there's 4 million.
It's just the ones that have this shit that they can't explain that come forward, you know? Other ones might be like, man, I feel really good about myself, and they just might attribute it to, I got a new outlook on life. I don't think it's coming from someone else's memories in the heart. It's just, I got a new outlook on life because I'm alive now, you know?
No, that's not what you're talking about, dude. You're talking about having a specific memorization. Like if someone...
No, I'm saying some people might blow off these memorizations of certain feelings coming back. You're like, I just feel better about my life. And like they take it as that, like, oh, that's all it is. When it's like, no, it's coming from this new heart that you got.
You were referencing a specific thing, like you were referencing like almost like if a dude was always happy when he went to Wendy's.
Yeah, hypothetically.
And then he died.
You could do a study about it.
Yeah.
Get like 100 dudes that just love Wendy's.
No, but the thing is, see, that's what's and I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the world, but that's the thing, dude. The studies already occurring. They've been doing heart transplants, but they haven't been testing for that.
All they said was,
I don't think exists at all.
All they said was since then, they've had a lot of the patients reporting stuff, and they report stuff to the surgeons or on the follow-ups, and they're like, I feel this, I feel that, I feel just so, and the surgeons are like, wow, that is interesting. You're alive, I got you living. Now, this is for a psychiatrist, and the surgeons just always kind of...
Yeah, I don't...
You don't buy it.
No,
You don't buy there's any kind of ability for the heart to remember, like, the one, maybe your heart can remember one memory, and like it's something really happy, or you got murdered, and that's what it stores. It could be that, but there's some kind of ability in the heart to retain knowledge. They found out. Yes, they did.
You're romanticizing it.
I'm not. I'm telling you what I listened to. And
let me tell you this, dude.
Know I don't want to fall in love with no BS, man.
No. It's hard to fight it, dude. It's the woo.
But I want you to fight it, so I appreciate this.
It's hard to fight it because you fall into like the want of like thinking it's all connected and shit. No, look, dude.
Okay, go for it.
You and me discover an android. It's got a brain unit that calculates every other fucking aspect of its unit. And then, in the center of it, we find a pump that pumps oil to all the metallic parts.
Yeah.
Now, if you and me are good scientists, and we have to study, like, what makes this thing work, we see there's a pump, dude, and it pumps oil to every part.
Yeah.
Let's fucking work on the CPU.
The brain?
Yeah. There would be no point. Like, you would look at the heart and you'd be like,
That's the power plant.
no, it is not the power plant.
It isn't. So what do you? Sorry. What do you make? What point you make?
The brain is the power plant.
Okay.
So we would look at the heart as just a functional pump.
And that's how we have forever. But
I don't doubt.
they're starting to look at it in just a little bit different way.
I don't doubt that. I just don't think the heart would have any more connection than any other organ.
But it has literal, physical, organic body parts that learn and grow that are only found in the brain, and we thought it was only there. They found a little bit of it in the heart. It has the parts that allow it to do it. Whether it does it or not, maybe that's for each individual. But, oh, what the hell was that, man? A mosquito flew in my ear. What does that mean? I'm going to look up what the Native Americans think about that, man. Oh, shit. Dude, if that was a mosquito, it was in there. It sounded like...
Dude, I'm telling you, it doesn't mean... okay, basically, like, what I'm thinking about is, like, you would get to, like, the end...
I understand. The heart is just a pump, man.
No. You would get to the end of the universe, and you would be, like, explaining to the stars, like, all right, check it out. Like, the heart and the brain are connected, and therefore it connects this. And your skin would be like, yo, boss, what the fuck?
Bitch, try doing something without me.
I'll run everything around you, pal.
You just be a pile of, a sack of gross stuff on the sidewalk without me.
Like, imagine all the steps your ancestors walked. And you're telling me the skin on your heels doesn't have memory from...
It doesn't have neurosensors. It doesn't have a neural network like the brain and heart a little bit.
Okay, but the thing is you gotta get is...
it doesn't have the physical components like the heart.
Dude, alright. Alright.
It comes down to physical anatomy.
Okay, exactly. And right now, what you're talking is like a kind of a Western doctor.
No, it's...
No, check it out.
All I'm saying is the neural network is a real thing. It's the connections of your brain. How do you think?
The brain, okay.
They found that in the heart.
The brain runs...
The brain runs the heart and everything else.
Yeah.
It tells the heart how to beat, when to beat. Don't beat, too fast when you don't need to.
Yeah, so what's connected to the brain?
Everything.
There's your answer.
Everything.
Everything.
I'm just saying they found that the heart does a little something. You're having a hard time wrapping your... It's like you don't want to believe that the heart has like a mini brain in it. A mini-ass network brain thinking thing.
No, I don't because I
but it's...
Because to me, there are... When you look at the human body, there are like 6 or, 15 different organ systems, and you're picking the brain and the cardiovascular system, the heart, as being superiorly connected over all the other systems.
No, I see how each one has its valid argument, and I could, if you really want, man, I'll put a list together. I'd have to think about which, get down, but I understand what you're saying, that everyone thinks brain, heart, then it would be, people would be like, skin, lungs, no, lungs first, like, it's a debate, for sure. It's not clear cut, but the brain is number one. Everything after that is a toss-up. But the heart is trying to establish itself as number 2, like, yo, dog, yo, brain, check me out. I got a little bit of that shit like you. I've been saving up. I bought a neural network. Like, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Dog, can I be your number 2? I know I pump blood. I pump a shitload of blood, and I get everyone going. And I'm telling you, I'm not ungrateful for my job pumping blood to everybody. I love it. I love my role. But I'm just saying, I'm ambitious to just, I can learn and think a little bit. And if you take, what I got to say, if you want to use it or not.
But that's where I'm getting it. It's like, okay, all right. Step 1.
We got to wrap it up soon because we going.
The brain and the heart are connected in a high way. All right. They share genetic codes and genes and cells. And
you're saying they're on this let's not even say they're even. Let's say it's like this.
Oh, there's no fucking way.
They're not even, but you let's just say the heart is in the ballpark, in the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you saying?
What's the end game?
So what point I wanted to make is that the brain might, and this is another thing that happened on Gaia, and I'm not a Gaia fanboy, idiot like that. I'm not trying to say everything on Gaia is true, because this guy, he was talking about like, I've had 5 different lives, and one was 20,000 years ago, and one was on a planet, and I'm here to and I'm making him sound really corny and stupid. Of all the wackos out there, I'll give him a little bit of credibility, and I'll listen to him a little bit, but he's over here talking about, he's got memories from different lives and stuff, and his job here is to teach people about like how it works, just what you can do, and like I said, I'm not his fanboy. I'm not saying what he says is true, but a thing he mentioned and what I'm trying to see maybe if there is some credence to, because I try and meditate, and I've been at a standstill for a little while. That meditation, he said that your brain powers everything. Your brain is your thoughts, your consciousness, and everything. But when you truly can sink deeper into your consciousness and meditate is when you let your heart take over, because the heart can just think and feel without the sensories. It doesn't have to compute what's going on. It feels first and processes first. And I know it sounds corny.
No.
It sounds corny, but
I interrupt you there, man.
It
does not sound corny at all.
Okay.
It sounds completely
like bullshit.
It sounds completely implausible.
Nope.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. If you went to an anatomy course and
this isn't anatomy.
Anatomy is what we're talking about.
I know it's anatomy.
Hold on, dude. If you went to an anatomy course and you asked them, the pump is a brain, or the pump is the heart is a pump. Mm-hmm. What turns on the heart? It is an electrical signal from the brain.
Yes, I concede that. But all I'm saying is the heart's only job is not just to pump blood. It could be 95% pump blood, 5% think, feel, remember. They have found anatomical evidence of a neural thinking network in the heart. It's anatomy. They found it in the heart that nothing else has it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the mass of the heart is the mass of the heart is much more like a physical pump.
I know.
There may be 10% of... Okay, all right.
I can see that.
No. What I'm saying is there may be 10% of like...
Thinking,
brain,
computing.
Brain, and 90% of the heart is just straight up mill. It's a windmill. Yeah. And then you get it to the brain, and it's like 110% just straight up mental. So...
Yeah, get out of my way. I'm sending instructions to everybody. I ain't got time.
I don't see where the... Alright, so the heart is connected, and it's like...
Well, this comes back to the material and the non-material. And we need to have a really deep-ass conversation.
But if you die, it doesn't matter. Your heart dies or your brain dies first.
Oh, man, dude. We need to have our deep-end discussion for the next episode, because... I can tell we have vastly different opinions of what happens when we die. And I don't know what happens when we die, to be honest. No one does.
Your brain... Yeah, dude, your brain shuts off.
I know.
And it shuts off all the functions.
I know.
So...
But in that process,
it
releases a shit ton of DMT. And until you do DMT, you don't know that transcendental, interdimensional ability. And we've talked about it. It's just, your body is a vessel, and the light shining through is showing these geometric patterns. But to an extent...
What would be the point of a flood of DMT?
A chemical of this stuff?
No.
What it is?
Hold on.
A flood of DMT when you're dying.
No. What would be the point of a flood of DMT hitting your brain as you were losing the capabilities of your body?
Well, the first question you have to ask
is... You would feel good as you were dying.
No, well, the first question you have to ask is, what is DMT and what does DMT do?
No.
If none of you think DMT just makes you feel good, like, man, I feel cool, let's watch a movie. It's not that.
No.
It breaks down everything.
People.
I haven't done it.
No, what I'm talking about is if you die from a stroke or a heart attack or
I
whatever,
get all of that.
You will die most essentially within 2 to 3 minutes.
I know. But okay, let me make this point.
As you're dying, your brain releases the DMT, and your liver fails.
Yeah.
But you're having a trip of your life.
Yeah.
And what good does that do other than
that trip and make you feel better dying?
Ease you on your way out.
So then that goes back to the question: what does DMT do? If you think it just makes you feel good and trip out and it kind of numbs like a morphine with psychedelics while you're dying and it gives you peace, that's one perspective.
No.
And that, because my perspective is not right, and I'm not saying yours is right or wrong. I'm just saying my thought process of what DMT does, and I haven't done it, but I need to.
When you die, and the DMT, I don't know when. I can tell you.
I still haven't said. All right, let me make this point so you can give me your point, because the thing I believe is DMT. If we do it from what I hear about, you leave your body. You actually get you're out of here.
Okay.
And you go somewhere else.
Okay.
And maybe it's, and I don't want to sound like, man, you trip and you go like into another place. I'm not talking like Planet K idiots like that. But it's science. Like, people do this stuff, and we already talked about the archetypes. We already talked about that machine elves and shit. But you bust down all these barriers and all these filters are removed, and you see this stuff for what it really is. I think it takes you to a place where just more filters are removed, and you can see just more truths.
Hold on.
So
wait. Are you talking about? Are you referencing taking DMT or experiencing it over time, or are you talking about when you die?
Both. Both.
Okay, because one occurs over time, and the other one is a 3-minute session.
But every time you do it, it's the same, supposedly. It never gets weaker.
I know, but how many people that die take DMT beforehand?
And you can't come back, everyone that does DMT eventually dies.
No.
So everyone,
You're talking about DMT as this hyper experience.
Yeah.
Which it may be.
And they say it's more real than real.
I know, but the majority of people die without taking it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But you don't know that, because actually they do take it in the very end on their way out. Whether they planned on it, it's a fact. In the pineal gland, it releases it.
I know, but I guess my point is, what is the point of having the best, most?
You ain't letting me make my point, because it comes back to what does DMT do? And it's not just, here's what it is. It's not you're removing filters and like, wow, this looks cool and this is trippy. It takes you to a place of truth. It takes you to a real place.
What you're saying is that when you pass,
you're transported through a chemical in your brain.
That the experience of DMT
transports your consciousness.
Is essentially what people have referred to as like your soul passing.
Yeah. I think when your body's shutting down, when your liver's shutting down, your heart's shutting down, everything's shutting down, and your brain's getting little oxygen, and it's like, oh shit, the oxygen supply is done because the lungs and the heart ain't working.
And
so then it floods
this on?
My gearing up to do DMT, which I never did, but I was just trying to read a bunch and listen to a bunch of just experiences about it.
What you're referencing is the experiences almost of people who have gone through the whole passage.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they've had the breakthrough, because a lot of people don't break through, they bounce off the bubble. You have to be committed to make the full, and like I geared up to how I want to do it, but if you believe that chemical unlocks parts of your brain. I'm not trying to sound like an idiot, but what do they say? You only use 25% of your brain or some shit? Maybe Maybe fucking DMT is a lightning rod that just kicks everything else on. And everything gets churning, doors get fucking opened, and your consciousness, your soul, whatever your awareness, whatever you call it, just starts going through these doors just let me finish real quick. While the DMT allows the doorway to be open, and then once you cross through that doorway, and then you're dead and the oxygen's done, the door shuts behind you, and you're just in this beyond.
Well, no, what you're describing, there's two separate groups.
I'm saying that's what I feel like what happens.
The people that have died and go through that, and then you're kind of almost talking about like, well, while you're alive, you can just take DMT and experience that same
the afterlife.
Thing.
They say,
which you can.
Look, what they say, just real quick, they say that when you take DMT, it's like looking through a small window of the beyond. When you die in the flood of DMT, you're in the beyond. You're jumping into the deep end. But DMT just allows you a little window to peep in real quick, and then you're back to all reality. That's what I heard, and I kind of agree with it. It allows you a peek through a window.
It's arrogant.
How? Why would that come?
There's a movie where fucking what's it?
And I okay, go for it.
God damn it, what's it called? It's got Cameron Diaz, Brad Pitt in it, Javier Bardem. It's about like the Mexican drug trade. I don't know.
Did it have anything to do with like a Brazilian necktie or Colombian necktie or some shit?
Yeah, like that's how Brad Pitt dies in the end.
I vaguely remember that shit, man. Colombian necktie. Okay.
I forgot how I was going to reference it.
Something in there about. Man, we stalled out.
Try to reference a movie to what we was talking about.
It was just LSD, DMT, if it transports you somewhere, transports your consciousness, your soul as you're dying.
No.
And you're going to reference something in that movie.
Okay, so basically, the flaw I'm poking in your logic is that what you're saying is, at the moment of death, you experience the greatest experience.
And you walk in. And I'm not trying to be positive and optimistic, but kind of.
It's essentially a door that you walk through, right?
Yeah.
You die and you can...
The DMT opens this door.
But no one from that side can tell us what's happening.
And that's where I kind of disagree.
Man.
I'm telling you, meditation, training your mind, focusing. I know it sounds corny as shit. It's a deeper subject, and I respect your opinions and your views.
You think ghosts can tell us about the next life?
I don't necessarily. I don't even know what I believe about ghosts, you know?
I mean, we're in Texas, so it's hard to fucking... We got skulls painted on all the shit. And
God, dude. Like, we clash on some views so long that we can't even get to the point, like... We gotta, like... whittle it down. This is a discussion, because... It's a valid debate. I like this. It's good conversation, sir. It's not a gentleman's discussion because it's a fucking hour and 20 minutes now.
Oh, jeez.
But no. We're gonna finish it. So.
You can't.
Okay, so DMT, and I could be an optimistic idiot saying, as you die, DMT takes you from the bad shit and puts you in a weird place that's kind of heaven.
Yeah, that's what your brain does.
But it's like a real place, though.
No, it floods it with dopamine.
And it feels like a real place.
Yeah.
But if all these people do the DMT without dying and experience the same place and feel like, wow, this place feels celestial. It feels universal. It feels.
All right, hold on.
Pure.
Hold on. What you're describing is the DMT experience as being holy, basically.
It can be
a great thing.
It can be, yeah.
Okay. Now,
divine, profound.
All right. You have a DMT experience, and then you go back to fucking doing your job the next week. Now, how does that compare with dying? If, when you die, you have the DMT experience, you know that basically that's it. You're literally stepping into the infinity.
You're stepping in.
If you do it on fucking Saturday and you're fine by Wednesday, how can you say that's the same as dying? Dying is a one-way trip, dog.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Basically,
and that's what scares me. It's
what you're saying is, hold on.
It's a one-way trip, you're right.
No, what you're saying is that if you take enough DMT, you can have a trip that will induce the same emotions and same effects as if you were actually dying.
Yeah. And when they have these trips, it's your ego. It's your ego that's dying. God.
Consequence, man. Okay.
It's your ego that dies,
man, that movie, The Lawyer. It's called The Lawyer.
Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, yeah.
You got to look it up.
Robert Downey Jr.
There's an awesome scene. No, at the end, it's Michael Fassbender.
Okay.
In it.
Okay.
And at the end, there's a guy talking to him, and he's like, "Dude, you pick a path, and at the end of that path, when the consequence comes, you accept it, but you can't fight it because you accepted those consequences the day you picked the path."
Yeah.
So.
But what's that have to do with DMT? Like, if you take DMT out of a plant and you get a window sneak peek into the beyond.
You haven't finished your path. You're not done.
That's the thing. DMT supposedly gives you a sneak peek through a window real quick into this beyond oblivion or whatever, craziness that's infinity, and then you come back. But when you die, your organs shut down. And it's like your body and everything. It's for real. And says there is no coming back. Go, stay there, and then the door shuts, and then that's where you are. That's what I don't expect people to believe the same thing, but for at least right now in my life, that's what I kind of believe. And it sounds like DMT's a miracle drug to save you when you're dying.
You think you have to be aware of the door to yell at it to open?
No. It's just it's always closed, and then when that chemical is released, whether you're dying or take a pill or whatever it is, that door is open. So, like the DMT is the key for that door.
Yeah. So, in a population of 100 million, let's say there's only 1 million DMT drug users, people who would experiment.
Sure.
So, after all the 100 million people die, they all, because they died, experienced the DMT
on their way out.
So, what was the purpose of that small group experimenting with drugs and already knowing about it if everybody was going to hit the same experience?
And it's like you stumbled across a thing, like how you stumble across mushrooms and it gives you a different perspective on Earth, No.
But the thing is,
it just gives you another perspective.
No, but
a different perspective.
No, but the people who died, who haven't done mushrooms,
and DMT,
they're going to at the end experience the same thing.
Yes.
So they're as if they didn't need to do the mushrooms while they were alive.
Whether you do mushrooms or when you're alive, or you do DMT or alive, when you're on your way out and you're going down that.
You're going to hit it anyway.
You're going to get hit with a big dose on your way out, and it's not necessarily just to make you feel good like morphine. I think you're associating DMT as, it's just morphine. Makes you feel good and trip a little bit.
No. What I'm saying is...
I think it actually... The chemical activates something in your brain.
But what I'm saying is, what you're prescribing is, you're hitting it so hard that when you die, you're going to have this experience anyway. Mm-hmm. When you die, you're going to have the ultimate experience. Okay, so what you're prescribing is basically nobody should mess around with acid or shrooms or anything mind expanding, because what's the point when you hit the end? You're going to max out. You're going to hit if you do shrooms and mushrooms all your life, and I never do them, I'm like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And then we both die on the same day.
Yeah.
And then we both have the DMT experience.
Yeah.
How much further advanced are you than I am?
It's not about being advanced.
Well, that's
because
what you're prescribing is that basically nobody should do.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying everybody should do LSD and shrooms and DMT.
You're not.
Peek into the oblivion, yes.
No, because
peek into the oblivion because it's not just physical, you know.
No, but what you're saying is that basically, like a grandmother from 1905, who died, like she was like, hey, I'll never drink whiskey.
She got hit with it on her way out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was, and I totally believe you. She was like,
whoa!
This is like I'm riding the rainbow.
Holy cannoli!
Yeah, holy cannoli.
Good gracious!
But the point is, if you, as a conscious being, has realized that people, no matter fuck all their bullshit, when they die, they hit the experience.
They hit DMT and transfer into the beyond.
Yeah, so what's the point in learning about, like, taking marijuana or taking acid?
It changes your perspective of the physical while you're here.
But you hit it at the end, we all end up at the same...
So? But while you're alive, don't you want, like... peek into the Matrix?
No,
if you could go look into a hole and be like, oh, this shit is the Matrix.
Yeah,
you go look in that hole.
I'll tell you why, dude.
Yeah?
Because what you're prescribing is a cult of death.
How?
You have to die to get to the next stage.
No. Well, I gotcha. And now you're talking about like enlightenment and shit, man. That's what enlightenment is to me. Enlightenment is you can transcend into that plane of thought or existence that kind of is universal with where you go when you die, the all-knowing, eternal, universal consciousness, everything that has been and will be is all one at the same time. Like, it gets deep, man. It's not just time moves forward like this on Earth, 60 seconds in a minute. You know, 1 pound is this many ounces, da-da-da. It's like, there's so much more that doesn't register as physical, you know?
But you gotta make that leap.
So, if you do DMT, you get a little view into the beyond, right? When you die, you get a flood, and it's not just a peek through a small window. They're like, get in there! Like, they push you into the fucking pool, man. They're like, you're in there now.
How do you know this?
I deduce it from all the people that do DMT and the experiences of the archetypes and the feelings, and it's all one. If they had different versions of this feeling, of this experience, I'd be like, well, each person has a different experience, but it's so specifically one thing everyone comes to that it's like, okay, this is kind of like a real place that exists in thought or consciousness or something.
Well, yeah, but why wouldn't you think that, dude?
So DMT just...
Hold on, dude. Hold on, dude. Every human thinks...
Feng Shui fountain?
No, every human thinks they're a different human, and they're subjectively individualistic. But we're all the same. So why would...
We are all the same.
Why would there be a million different experiences? It's all the... I don't know.
During life, why would there be a bunch of million different experiences?
I just don't think... because we're talking about the heart, and I don't think it... I mean, it may have memory, but yeah.
It adds to consciousness.
Okay, so what's your point, though?
One, the heart adds to consciousness, awareness, and then two, consciousness is kind of like your vessel when you're dying into the beyond. Pow! And I know we're getting out there because we haven't jumped into the deep end like this, but you haven't asked me. That's what it is. And it's like it is a chemical reaction in your brain with DMT, but somehow it's like a magical chemical. It does shit. Like they say, it's like everyone that does DMT says that you start off with one of those like Tibetan
bells,
those vibrating things, and they just and it gets so deafening that you're like, oh gosh, make it stop. And then after that, every single experience right after that is the geometric patterns, the rocket ship through the universe, through some interstellar journey. And then if you've taken enough and if you've done it right, there's a bubble that you have to burst through, because if not, you'll bounce off. everybody that does it says this exact same thing. And along the way, the same archetypes: the lady, the man, the jester, the machine elves. Everybody says this. It's not like some say, some recur. Everybody says, you take DMT, there's a deafening rocket ship to space, geometric patterns, you're in somewhere else, entities of love and knowledge and understanding are interacting with you.
Because you're the same.
And it's more real than real.
Yeah, because you're the same computer. DMT is the software.
Or it's the same place.
No.
It could be the same computer,
DMT,
or it could be the same place.
I can tell you, dude, it's the same computer.
You're underestimating the brain. What does the other 75% of the brain do then?
DMT is the software. It's the disc. It's the disc that you plug into the computer. Everything that you are was given to you by the human genome.
Okay.
You are a replicate. You may be better. You may be worse. But you're a replicate of other humans.
Sure.
That's it.
But DMT is not just a chemical to make you feel spacey while you're dying.
Does it have...
And the heart is not just an organ that pumps blood to make the brain think. The heart thinks too.
Well, okay, but see, the problem is... one of the problems is, okay, you die, and DMT is like a chemical reaction that causes your soul to essentially leave your body.
Yes. Or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. The problem you're creating is you're creating a destination.
Yeah.
What happens?
And I see your point of nothing happens.
No. But, I mean, you're creating, okay, after that point, once the soul leaves the body in whatever form.
And then it goes through that doorway.
You are proclaiming what happens. So what would happen?
And here's my deductive logic.
100 people die.
Here's my deductive logic.
Where do their souls go?
This is what happens when you take DMT. You go to a magical place that feels very real, more real than real. But that's just people taking DMT. It's a fact. When you die, your pineal gland releases a shitload of DMT.
Yeah.
Fact. It's just taking it without dying gives you a glimpse of that place you're going to go to when you die. But when you die, you get like a quadruple dose of it or whatever, and you go there, and then the body shuts down, the door closes, and you're there. Yeah, but it's like, if you want to see what that beyond is, you take DMT and be like, that's where I'm going? Yes. Yes. That void, that oblivion, that infinity, that beyond.
No, you're taking a very... You're raising the act of dying and having things revealed to you. And on one hand, you're raising that up as the ultimate experience, but on the other hand, you're saying that while you are alive, as many times as you might like, you can touch or get close to that experience.
Yeah.
Therefore, it kind of lowers it.
Because you don't get the full experience, though. When you die, you get the full experience.
No. It basically, what I'm saying is, you're a human being, and you can have sex the day before you die.
Yeah.
That is different from you're a human being, and you know you can have sex every day before you die.
Yeah.
So, basically, in your model of the universe, what a priest would be was someone who basically tripped out every day and was closer to death than life. Someone who knew more about what it was like to die.
But how would a priest have that knowledge?
Because they would have...
That's just through scripture. That you'd have to actually see it with your own eyes. Alright, that was another Nutrageous commercial break. We hope you enjoyed the second quiz, or the second game of the podcast. And this has been a long-ass one, so we're going to wrap this shit up. We had to break away real quick because we're new to this area, and the dude's got some new neighbors here, and we're just trying to be social. We apologize if we were talking about something, but I think we were just beating a dead horse about DMT and the heart and the brain. To be contender on that.
You were beating a dead. I was
no, you were. Shut it. I was. No, you were.
I was trying to bring enlightenment.
I was trying to bring enlightenment. But then in the middle of that, like I said, the neighbors, we got to be cordial. We got to take a break so we can integrate into this place. You know, I'm not on the lease, but, you know, I'm just happy to be in this apartment complex.
Referencing weed.
I was all talking to the neighbor, talking about, yeah, you know, we don't want to be too loud here.
You might think we're a gay couple, man.
Shit.
It's that episode of Seinfeld.
Fuck. You're right, dude.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Dude.
You might have fucked it up.
Because you say we.
What do you mean I say we?
You said, like, we, you know, when we lived at the other apartment complex.
Yeah, I'm referencing me and my mom.
Does she know that?
Do you know that?
She's probably thinking me and you fucking live at the other complex. Fuck, dude. You gotta set that straight next time. Like, hey, just want to let you know, me and my buddy, we never lived together.
Ever.
Because you haven't told her that, you know, you have a roommate. Right?
I gotta make it plain.
So when you say we, she might be thinking me and you, motherfucker.
I know, yeah.
She might be in her apartment thinking like, those guys are so close, and they're always having the most, you know, interesting, intriguing conversations when I walk by.
She could be around.
Man, we ain't talking about nothing bad, man. I'm just saying, like, her perspective of us.
I'll
like,
try to correct it. I'll be like,
I'm saying, if she is around, and we are very friendly to everybody, we accept everybody, there's nothing wrong with being who you are, LBGTQPDAPPOT.
I'll just have to tell her.
There's nothing wrong with all that.
Yo, that was married.
But, yeah.
And I'm down.
I got a wife and kids. Just wanted to, you know. So, I can't live with this guy.
It's the danger of doing a podcast outside.
I'm just saying, like, you said we, so you got to clarify who is this we, because she might be thinking, okay, it's not him, then he's got a girlfriend in there.
All right, wrap it up.
All right, man, we on a tangent. Okay, so this one went like 2 hours. I'm sorry. Gather your thoughts. Think about DMT and the heart and the brain, and DMT experiences when you're not dying, and DMT experiences when you are dying, and we'll come together at the start of the next one, but we're going to be quick and precise. We're not going to let it linger on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
All right, sorry for all them breaks, but it's been real. We out.
Splash.
Kadoosh.